What happened when you finally met your deadbeat dad? Growing up, it was only my mom and me because my dad left when I was born. At least, that's what I was always told. Mom made it clear he was a coward, a loser who bailed the second things got hard. She said he never wanted to be a dad, that he wanted nothing to do with me. I grew up resenting him. She never dated, never brought anyone new into our lives. It was always just us. So when she talked about how much he hurt her, how he left her to do everything alone, I believed her. Then one day, everything changed. I was cleaning the house while my mom was at work, going through an old closet, when I found a small wooden box. It was covered in dust, like it hadn't been touched in years. Inside were stacks of old photos. At first, it was just pictures of my mom as a kid, school pictures, birthday parties. Then I saw something that made my stomach drop. It was my mom, pregnant, standing next to a man I'd never seen before. They were at a backyard BBQ, laughing. Next to them was another guy, about their age. I flipped through the pictures and both men kept showing up. One of them had to be my dad, but I didn't know who the other guy was. When my mom got home, I asked her. The second she saw the photo, her whole face changed. She snatched it out of my hands, told me to leave it alone. I asked again, and that's when she snapped. She told me the other guy was her brother, my uncle, a man I had never heard of in my entire life. I asked why she never mentioned him, but she just shook her head and told me to let it go. When I pressed, she screamed at me and told me never to bring it up again. Then she stormed off to her room and slammed the door. That should have been the end of it, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. I needed answers, and I knew the only person who could give them to me was the man I had spent my life hating. It took a while, but I found him. He lived just a few towns over. I thought he'd be some deadbeat, maybe living in a rundown apartment, but he wasn't. He had a decent house in a nice neighborhood, and when I knocked on his door, he opened it and just froze. Then, out of nowhere, he pulled me into a hug. His whole body shook as he held me, and he kept whispering, "I thought I'd never see you again." This was not what I expected. When we sat down, I showed him the picture and asked him what really happened, and that's when I learned the truth. My uncle wasn't some great guy. He was an abusive drunk. He used to hit my mom all the time. That night at the BBQ, he got wasted and hit her while she was pregnant with me. My dad stepped in. He punched him once. That was all it took. My uncle's head hit the concrete and he never got back up. The cops investigated, but it was ruled an accident. My dad had been protecting his pregnant wife. He wasn't charged, but my mom's family didn't care. They told him if he didn't leave, they'd change their statements, say it was murder. So he left. Not because he didn't love me, because he had no choice. He never moved far. He stayed close, just in case my mom ever changed her mind, just in case I ever needed him. I didn't know what to say. My whole life, I had been told one version of the story, and now it was like my entire reality had flipped. When I got home, I confronted my mom. I told her I knew everything. She just stared at me, her jaw clenched. When I said I met him, she lost it. She started yelling, demanding to know how I could betray her. When I didn't back down, she slapped me. That was it. I packed a bag and left. I stayed with my dad. It was strange at first being around him, but he made an effort. He cooked breakfast. He asked about my life. And for the first time, I felt like I had a parent who wanted me around. We spent weeks gathering evidence, getting old records and statements from people who remembered what happened. It wasn't easy, but in the end, he got full custody. The day the court ruled in his favor, he broke down. He held me and sobbed. "I'm so sorry I wasn't there for you," he said. "I have so much lost time to make up for."